Hello there. So I recently made a video where I made a Joe Strummer Telecaster pickguard, and maybe you've seen that video. And if you look really closely, maybe you can find that it is hidden in this picture right here. Anyway, I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, it was actually kind of fun to make that pickguard, and it made me look a little bit more at my Telecaster that is a tribute to his guitar. I have it right here. And I was thinking that maybe I should make it look a little bit more Joe Strummer-y, you know? At first I had this idea that it was cool to have it just be completely its own thing and just have small hints hidden here and there. But I actually kind of feel now a little bit like that was fun making that pickguard, so I'm gonna do this one. And hopefully this video will also be released on the day that is the 20-year anniversary of his death. So we're making a double extra video to celebrate him and focus on him. So even though I can't have his music playing in the background in the video, I will be listening to it while making this guitar, and I encourage you to do the same. And if you don't want to listen to me, you can mute this video and listen to the clash while watching the pictures go by. But if you miss anything, it's, you know, your own fault. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm gonna take this guitar apart and I'm gonna repaint it. So we'll leave the neck alone for right now, but I think I'm gonna replace the side dots because if I remember correctly, which I might not do, his guitar should have clay dots. So I'm gonna put some into this one. Okay, so here is the body now, and as you can see, it's all taken apart. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually fill some of these marks that I did previously, because I'm not sure that I think they are that amazing. And I can do so much better relic work nowadays. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually fill some of these with epoxy clay. So let's do that real quick now. So I have filled in all these marks here, and I've scuffed off the paint, because if you're gonna put down a new paint on top of an old paint like this, you need to scuff up the paint so that it has something to grip into. I don't know if you can see that I've scuffed it up, but I have. Basically, sand it, you know. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mask off all these little marks that I want to keep. Or at least, I'm gonna try to mask off a lot of them. And here, I'm gonna do something to mask off this area, but not entirely. And try to make it look a little bit wonky and weird, I suppose. I don't know. I'm gonna do this off camera, and then we're gonna come back to do this area together. Just so you see what I do, because I do have a process for this. But I can't show you all of it, because then this video will be an hour long. And my algorithms are telling me that you don't like videos that are long. See you in a bit. Okay, so I've put some tapes that you can see on some of the areas where I don't want any lacquer and I want the old finish to be basically see-through, or whatever you say. And then I've also, as an experiment for this guitar, I haven't done this before, so we'll see if this works out or not. I've put dabs of hot glue and tried to shape it into where the cracks are, and hopefully, once everything is done, I'm going to be able to rip this off, and you'll basically see the honey-colored finish that is on the guitar now. You'll see it through these little marks. But I'm going to show you how I do the tape thing, which is what I'm used to doing. And I take a piece of tape like this, and I just put it down, like so. It basically means that if you paint the guitar and then remove the tape, what's under is going to be covered by the tape and not accidentally painted. And so I'm just ripping the tape, and I'm ripping it down the side like this. And that creates a sort of unique, sort of torn look to the tape. And I try to not control it, something like that. And now I can take this piece here and I can put it somewhere, like for example right here, like so. And I have a very huge area here to cover, but I only need to go around the edges with the torn tape to sort of create this torn look. If you tear one piece down the middle like this, all the way, then you can use it to cover a lot. So I'm gonna try to just fold it in a way that I feel is, you know, interesting. So something like that. And then I can take the other half that I have here and I can put that down as well. And just trying to create a interesting wear pattern that I'm happy with. And here I have a piece of glue anyway for some damage that I'm keeping, and so it doesn't have to look perfect. And I would say actually the worse it looks, the better, because we are working with, you know, the idea of random wear and tears. and nothing is more random than, you know, actual randomness, which I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you, but hopefully it does. And if you have any questions about this technique that I'm showing you right here now, I'm sort of glancing over a lot of it because I want to make this video as short as possible, which is something that I'm always struggling with because I'm always going on too much. But if you want more videos about this, you know, I can definitely do another video about it. And, you know, at some point I might do it anyway because I might want to fix up some of the guitar. And it's especially good if you have a guitar that already has some damage and you want to keep that wear that you maybe added for playing or something like that on the guitar, but you want to change the color of it. And now I'm just going to cover up this area here with strips of tape. And you just have to be careful so that you don't leave any small areas without tape, basically, because then color will get through. And I'm taping them down like this, but I'm leaving a bit to hang over because we do have to create a side edge somehow that is okay, that looks worn too. So I'm just gonna put these tape pieces down like so, and now I'm gonna start to see how I'm gonna rip. Right here I already have some tape, so I don't have to be overly careful. But here we're starting to get to the area where some random torn shapes might be a good idea. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's always sort of hard to show things in YouTube videos. And I'm using my nail to sort of create this randomness right here, but you can use something else if you wanna. You should never really follow what I'm doing to like perfection. You should try to come up with your own thing that makes it more your style and your thing, because at the end, what I'm doing might not completely work for you. It's, you know, one of those things you can never really know about YouTube videos, how they're gonna work for you, but you can get inspired. And if you look at this, it looks very torn and random and jagged. And we're gonna do some cleanup, you know, once we're all happy and done with the paint job. That's later. When I come back, the body will be painted, because that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna paint it like I would paint any other body. So, yeah, just hold on to your hats, because Kansas is going bye-bye. Okay, so here is the body right now, and as you can see, it's all covered in a gray primer, and all I'm gonna do now is exactly the same thing, which is I'm just gonna spray it again, but this time with black paint. So, see you in a bit when I've done that. Okay, so here is the body now, and as you can see, I've painted it black. But as you cannot see, I've also clear coated it a couple of times to get something that protects the black a little bit. Now we just have to wait for this to gas off and for all of this paint to get really hard. Okay, so while we wait for the body to dry, or you know, gas off, here is the neck, and we're just gonna quickly remove these fret dots because they are not period corrected. And even though, you know, the painting and all of that is not gonna be period correct and the hardware and things, I feel like, you know, a small little detail like changing out these plastic dots for clay dots is gonna help a lot in making this guitar a little bit more Joe Strummer-y, if that's a thing, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it super quickly. And yeah, I'm rambling right now, and I'm sorry. Let's just jump straight into changing out these little dots. I've already shown you in another video how I replaced these dots on the fretboard, but I'm just gonna quickly go over it anyway. So I make a mark so that my drill bit doesn't slip around, and then I drill it like that. And then with an awl I can usually break it out. And depending on what material you used when you inlaid it, or if it's a neck you've bought, it can be different materials. And depending on what material you inlaid, some things are harder, some things are just super soft. This is actually a sort of glass that I used on this neck when I made it, like 10 years ago or something. So I'm not really sure what it's called in English, but anyway, it's not a very good material, and I've since learned not to use it. But anyway, dab of super glue, probably a little bit more than I recommend, but it's sort of just squirted out. And I just press in the new clay dot, and now I just need to wait for it dry. And while I wait for this one to dry, I'm just going to do the other ones, because it'd be kind of weird to have one color on everything except for that one right there. Okay, so I've removed all of the fret marks, and I've replaced them with clay dots, and here is the neck right now. And hopefully you can see, I think it looks rather nice. And I know that this is not a correct neck in a lot of way, like for example, that does not look like any Strat. But this is something that I made myself, and it's not supposed to be 100%, you know, a copy of Joe Strummer's guitar, and it's also not supposed to be an exact 1966 Telecaster. So I'm sort of just making the guitar I've already made as a tribute to his guitar into more of it. And you'll see it because we're gonna move to the body, and all the scratches and things dings are not where his guitar scratches and dings are. They're where my guitar's scratches and dings are. And you can go however you want. You can go like I do and make something that is yours and that is, you know, more your guitar but still a tribute to his guitar. Or you can go more something that is a copy of his guitar. Either way is fine, I think. The most important thing is that you like the guitar and that you're having fun playing it and that you're listening to the clash. Okay, so I have the body right here, and all we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to peel off all the little pieces of tape and the hot glue dot and reveal the scratches and dings that are underneath and making this guitar look a little bit more relict, I suppose is what you could call it. I mean, that's what everyone calls it. I don't know. I'm trying to make a joke here and forget about it. Okay, so let's start off here in the back a little bit and see what happens. Now, I'm not going to film the entire of taking all of this off because it will take some time, but I'll show you a little bit of the removing and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like once I've removed all the tape. But right up here we have a little bit of tape to remove and I'm just pulling it off with my nails for now and we'll see how hard it is to get off. Again, the hot glue part is something I haven't tried before. This technique of covering up parts of the body and then spray painting over it is something that I've done before. And I gotta say, already I feel like the hot glue part might be an issue because it felt like it was a little bit hard to get off right there at the edge. So, but let's try with a knife and see if we can get in under here and break it off easier that way, which we could. So maybe all of the glue parts are easier to remove once you use a knife for it. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit wonky and weird, but I feel like I'm losing it. I don't know, I feel like the hot glue trick was probably not a good idea. Not that it won't come off or that it will be a disaster or anything, but just I feel like it's too hard to remove for it to be a good idea. I don't know, I was thinking that I would show you quite a lot and that this would be kind of easy to remove and that it would be, I don't know, maybe a montage or something similar to that fiction. But I think I'm gonna have to cut somewhere around here because this is gonna take too long to remove. See you in a bit. Okay, so here's the body right now and it has a bunch of weird marks. And they are just, you know, the dings and scratches the guitar had before, but a little bit amplified by all this contrast between the finish that is under and the overspray. But I tried to create that overspray look that the original guitar, Joe Strummer's guitar, has. But obviously not with a sunburst underneath, but with a TV yellow underneath, which is what my guitar actually has. Now, I did some of these with hot glue because hot glue is super easy to use. And it was super fast to just do little dots of hot glue everywhere and let them harden and just, you know, cover up the dings and scratches in the guitar, you know, to keep them visible through the paint job. Instead of doing what takes longer, which is putting down masking tape. But the thing is, it was horrible removing all these dots. It took maybe 10 times longer to remove them than what it does to remove the tape. But anyway, I have some tape over here and I'm just gonna show you how easy it is to remove the tape. You see how quickly I just pull it off. And so it sort of depends on, I would say, what kind of job you're willing to put in, because on one hand, sure, it will go faster with the hot glue to put it on, you know, and leave it to harden, but it will take a longer time to remove it. But on the other hand, the tape is very easy to pull off, and it looks, what I at least think, I think it looks better. But it does take a longer time to put it on, because you have to be, you know, careful with where you put it and things like that. But hopefully you see here, and I'm not going to cut anything away in this clip here where I remove this tape on this particular part. Hopefully you can see that it goes fairly quickly for me to remove this tape. And it wasn't that hard to put this on, but on the back it would have been On the back it would have been a lot more harder to do, because the back, as you know, has a lot of small little dings and scratches that are going basically everywhere. So yeah, and I did, like right here you can see, it's impossible to get it off. So you have to come in with a knife and be very careful not to pull out, you know, make any weird dabs, like so. That one came out super good, probably the best I've ever had. Some of them are really easy to get out, like that one. Some are really hard. Some you have to like scrape away. But anyway, so this is the body right now, and it might look a little bit weird and wonky, but remember that it's basically supposed to be an overspray of a other guitar, like Joe Strummer's. It's not supposed to be a black guitar that has been relicked. And I wanted to keep the feeling that this was something that I had done, that I had actually cut this down, and then it had worn down a little bit. But anyway, the lacquer needs to be flattened and smoothed out, and I need to go in and sand through in a couple of areas so that the grey primer that is underneath, just like on Joe Strummer's guitar, shows off a little bit more. And then we'll put the guitar back together. But do remember this one, this little ding right here. It looks like a duck. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, the guitar looks rather dinged up. Keep in mind it's the scratches that the guitar had from all the abuse. And I did some sanding through the layers to get down to all the little grey primer, just to capture that same feeling. And it's a little bit too relic, I think. Not really my cup of tea, but then again, all the dings and scratches are where they're supposed to be. And yeah, I'm especially not very happy with back. It's a little bit too blotchy, I think. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I can always mask off what I like and what I don't like. I can repaint, but yeah, I don't know if you can see, like, there are actual dings and knocks, especially right up here. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't really know what to say, because on one hand, it doesn't look that pleasing to me. This looks sort of like one of those Chinese copy guitars, you know, disaster relics that you can sometimes find. But on one hand, all these dings and scratches are where they are. And I don't know. I am gonna put the neck and the pickguard and the bridge back on the guitar now. And then we'll go to my next step, making this guitar a little bit more Joe Strummery. So I like the way it looks on the front. I hope it's gonna go look even better once details are on it. But anyway, see you. Okay, so here is the guitar all put together, and you can see the way it looks basically. And we're gonna add some of this stain lacquer that I always put on everything, and that's basically just to gunk it up a little bit. And it's just because I feel like the guitar has become a little bit more it's become more relic now than maybe it was intended to, or maybe not intended to be, but it looks more dramatic now, maybe. It's a good way of putting it, I don't know. So I'm just gonna dab some on, and before you say, "Whoa, what are you doing, you crazy person?" Wait and see. First we just dab it on all over the place, or some on all these screws, which I don't know if you can see that I'm doing. I'm basically just super sloppily gonna dab some on. And that's just because, though I think that you can make the whole relicking hardware through using muriatic acid, you can make that look really good, but you can also totally destroy everything, and it is very poisonous, and you shouldn't really have anything to do with that. Not that it's like wrong to use or anything like that, you decide for yourself, but it's not good for anyone to use it. And now I'll come back with some white spirit and just basically see if I can make this mess that I just created maybe not go away, but blend it out a little bit with some drops of white spirit and let it sort of become more fluent and more gunky, I suppose is the word. Maybe? I don't know. I think you know what I'm trying to say, even though I'm doing a very poor job of saying it. And I'll come back with some paper, I think, because the brush is really doing it the way I wanted it to. But something like that, maybe. I'll leave it to dry a little bit and see what happens. And I'm going to go over the rest of the body as well, because we can gunk up some of these areas as well, maybe. And here is the guitar body right now, and there's only one thing left to do. So, see you in a bit. Okay, so the guitar is basically done, and the thing that is left to do is put on this sticker. Now, you might recognize it a little bit, and you might also be confused. And the thing is, Joe Strummer has basically 2 stickers on his guitar. At least that's what it's sort of known for. And the first one is a sticker that says Trash City, and the other one is one saying Ignore Alien Orders. Now, I don't really care for Trash City. It doesn't really say anything to me. And I also don't really like the look of the Ignore Aliens. It's just a square. So what I did was that I put Ignore Alien Order on the Trash City sticker, making it basically into one sticker that is both, you know, has a message and, you know, looks cool. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, let's put this sticker on. I made this in Photoshop. It's not that hard to make. If you're interested, I can talk more about it in another video. Let's put it on the guitar. So here's the sticker, and I think I'm going to put it here somewhere. There, I think will look good. Just like that. And now, just to make it feel like it fits in a little bit better, I'm just gonna go over it with a little bit of the stain lacquer just over the edges here to get a sense that it's been on the guitar a little bit longer and that it fits together with all the other gunk of the guitar, because it's kind of weird if, you know, the guitar is gunked up and the sticker is not. So I'm just gonna go over it with a little bit like this. Just gunk it up. And you see me put on a lot, smear it around, and then I'll just take a piece of paper and I'll just remove some excess like this and just trying to smear it out a little bit. Basically just, you know, it'll not look too obvious what I've done, but to make it look more like it's been stained over the years than just recently been put on. Something like that. I think you can always do it a little bit more once I've had some time to look at it a little bit more, and you really should ignore alien orders, you know. It's even more relevant now than ever before. Okay, so here is the guitar, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. I think it turned out pretty nice. It's a bit heavy on the relic, which is something that when you have a relic guitar and you decide to put another color over it, it might actually happen. I don't know what to say about it. All in all, I think I'm pretty happy with it anyway. I think it looks rather cool, and with the sticker there it becomes more of a Joe Strummer guitar than it was before, and I think people will see it and recognize the tribute, and it makes more sense with the sticker on than it does without it. It might seem a little bit more just like a very trashed guitar without the sticker, but now I feel like it's coming together neatly. The back is a little bit extreme, I think, but it's all gonna get even more worn because I put on such a thin layer of paint, and so we'll just, you know, see what happens. And if you want an update video, you talk to me in the comments below. But anyway, that's the end of this video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I would also, if you're not subscribed, appreciate if you did subscribe. It helps me out a lot and I appreciate it. If you have any questions about what I did, talk to me in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer the questions. But anyway, until next time, stay awesome and cool, and go and play some Clash songs. You know, they're awesome and they're kind of easy to learn, so even if you're a beginner, you could learn some Clash songs and play them and have a lot of fun, because The Clash is an awesome band and Joe Strummer was cool, so go and be awesome.